welcome back to the channel everyone. In today's video we're going to be making a drum and bass classic, Artificial Intelligence-Desperado. What you can hear playing in the background is the recreation that I have made for this video. So we're going to be focusing on the sub bass and the mid bass specifically in this video. I'm going to show you how we can do that inside of Serum to recreate that classic bass sound. So let's get right into it. Here we go. Okay, so here we have the MIDI for the mid bass. If you want to follow along, it's in the key of G. So G down to F down D. In the sub bass, which we're going to also be looking at today, we're going to do these separately. In the sub, we're going to be playing these notes here, which is going to be G down to F and then up to D. So let's have a look at the sub first of all. Okay, so here we have an initialized preset. It's very simple. This one for the sub is all we're going to do is we're just going to use the sub oscillator to make this one. We're going to break it down -1. Okay, we can turn up the volume a bit, turn the volume of the master up. Let's just check the volume. You can hear a bit of clicking going on in there as well, which will make it mono as well. And to get rid of this click, we're just going to move the attack up here to about 5, let's say, around about there. Oh. There we go. So it's nice and smooth now. Excellent stuff. That's it for the sub, basically. Like I said, very simple. All we're using is the sub here. And as you can see, we're keeping it separate this time. So we've got 2 separate channels. That's the sub done. So now let's go and have a look at making the mid bass. So here we have an initialized preset. We're going to use 2 oscillators for this, and we're going to use the default preset, the saw wave. Okay, we're going to put the semitones up on oscillator 2 to +7. Okay, this is going to give us this kind of sound. So that instantly gives us that kind of tonality we need to create this sound. And the next thing that we want to do is we're just going to add a few voices. So let's put the unisons voices up to 5. We're also going to tune them slightly. So let's just get these tuned. Okay, that will do for the tuning of the unison. So once we've got the unison sorted, we need to start thinking about the movement of the sound, because as we know in the original tune, this one moves about a bit. So I'm going to have a little bit of variation. So I'm going to have this one up slightly higher, this one down slightly lower, and I'm going to use LFO1 to play with the volume of this one and play with the volume of this one like that. Now we need to have this on trigger so that it plays round from the same place every time a note plays. We also need to put this on dotted. We're going to have this on 1/8 dotted notes. Okay, that's in order to get the same pattern as the original. Now we should have something like this. Okay, excellent stuff. So we're getting there, as you can see. The next thing we want to do is I'm just going to switch on some white noise. So let's go to here and put this on white, bright white. We're going to add this in, so let's put this on here. We want to be fairly subtle with it, but we're also going to put this through distortion. Okay, so that's just adding a bit to the bottom there as well. Okay, let's just go into the effects now. So in the effects, I'm going to add a hyper dimension. We're going to turn off the first mix here, so the hyper, and we're going to go into the dimension. We can turn the size down a bit. Okay, about there somewhere. Excellent stuff. Once we got that, let's go into the distortion. Let's choose a soft clip for this one, and let's push this up a bit. Just to give it a little bit of movement in there, let's add the LFO modulation to the drive here so it moves about a bit. Okay, the next thing I'm going to add is a compressor. This is mostly just going to be to control volume. So we got that to about there somewhere. That's cool for now. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to put an EQ on here. We're going to set this on a low cut. Let's put that there, put that down there. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to control this with a macro. So let's just put that on the frequency. We'll let it go all the way. So when I move this, it's going to change. Okay, so we get something like that. Let's just name this so we know what it is. It's always a good idea to name your stuff, guys, so you know what you're doing. So there we go, EQ, nice and easy. And the last thing I would add on here is the reverb. So I'm going to put the reverb after the EQ in this case. I would probably recommend using a different reverb, than the one in Serum. It's not the best reverb, to be honest. And you would probably be best off to parallel process it as well. So use a send channel, put a reverb on the send, a bit of EQ to cut off any bottom end, and send it to taste, basically, is the best way to do it, in my opinion. You could put it directly on like we're doing here, but the best thing is to use that. Just for the sake that you guys can follow along and get the idea of the preset, we're going to use the reverb in here, okay? But like I said, I would recommend using a different reverb. So for this part of the process, I would omit this part and go to another reverb. Okay, so for this, we need to turn up the low cut so that we don't get as much of the lows coming through. Let's have a listen. One more thing we're going to do with this sound is we're just going to come in here to the filter and turn on a filter. So we're going to use the low cut. We want A and B coming through here. We also want to control the noise a bit coming through here. We're going to put key tracking on. Let's just turn it down to around 100 and something. In that area, 130 maybe, 45, that will do. And we'll put a bit of modulation from the LFO one on here. Let's see where we're at. So now that we've done that, you could have done this in a different order. You could have put that on before we run in effects, because what this means now is I have to go back in here and just play around with the gain basically on the compressor just to get the volume back up, because you can see now that we've put the filter on it, we lose a bit of volume. So that's pretty much it for this preset for the mid-range bass inside of Serum. What we need to do though is we just need to balance it with the sub bass. So let's turn the sub bass on and let's see where we're at with these two playing together. Cool, okay, so I'd say that's pretty much okay. Let's have a listen to it all in context. So let's see where we got to, and we can kind of fine tune it over the drums, etc. So let's have a listen to that. So that's basically everything I wanted to share with you guys today. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you learned something in this one, and until the next one, take care of yourselves. Peace.